Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lisa Ware, Senior Group Leader, Utility Warehouse, and lovely to have you on board. We're going to be tackling the subject of 20k giveaways because we are seriously moving into the season. And I'm going to start off with something that's probably a little bit different, but I'm going to tell you, I have sent something out to all the teams about a lady in one of my teams. She's a team leader called Denny Burke. And Denny has just had the most tremendous success representing Utility Warehouse on a trial at IKEA in Croydon. And she was chosen for very specific reasons. And I'm going to share this. She's probably, when she gets to watch the replay of this, she's going to be shocked that I'm mentioning her. But it's poignant to what I'm going to tackle. Denny had only been in the business a few months when I was doing the Dorset County show, not last year, the year before. It's a massive event. We have 9 people on the stand all day, rotating each day for 2 days, and the footfall is tremendous. It's huge, and we always do very well at it. And I turn it into fun. Anyone that's been on it, you know, I turn it into fun, competition, friendly competition. We have teams and we have a good time. But what was amazing was Denny had so she had 2 children and another one on the way. And she lives in Mitcham in Surrey. I don't know if you know, but it's over 100 miles from where I live. And Denny decided she wanted to learn and she wanted to see how it was done. And her whole ethos was, I'm going along to learn. If I get anything, that'll be a bonus. Now, that's a really good ethos because we don't get anywhere instantly. And there's a couple of things that I've got in front of me that I'm going to say because I think they're really important. I think the problem with today is everybody's attention span has got shorter and shorter. They're saying that if you, not that I would, but if you watched a TikTok video, is that what they call them? I don't know, reels. They reckon that people's attention span is a maximum of 7 seconds. Can you believe that? 7 seconds. So why would we expect to be able to pick up anything quickly? Think about that. Anything in life that's good, we have to learn. We have to learn skills. We have to do it. In our day jobs, you know, and that included me years ago, I had a 2-year probationary period in the police. 2 years. Okay. And then you went out on division as well, and you still weren't a fully fledged, you know, PC. You were coached. You had like an apprenticeship. You had somebody that took you out and showed you the ropes. When I left the police force, I sidestepped to civil litigation. And I worked my way up through a company called Liverpool Victoria. And to get to the position eventually of litigation manager, recovery manager, which was my role with 7 staff, it didn't just happen. I went in initially at ground level and very, very poor wages. But I considered, even though I had this degree and all that stuff, well, actually, do you know what? You've got to learn and earn it. And yet I find people come to this and they kind of expect instant results. And if they don't get it, they're despondent, they're disparaged. And that's strange. Why would we treat this any differently? And I think there's something that the reason is, I think a lot of sparkly things are thrown in front of them. And one of the major sparkly things now, of course, is the upfront income. It's huge. Let's be honest. If you take about an hour and a half to 2 hours, I'm being realistic, folks. Sorry, I don't say 10 minutes. I hope that's all right with you all. Okay. But if you take an hour and a half and you reduce someone's bills, which is wonderful. 3 services on a homeowner is £250. For an hour and a half's work, that's amazing. We have a lady on here who's a solicitor, and she'll tell you solicitors don't earn that money. The practice might, but solicitors don't. So I think what's happened is people are expecting instant, instant, instant. And if they don't get instant, instant, if they don't get that QD star in 30 days, they somehow think they failed, and they haven't. They haven't failed at all. All right. What they've done is they've learned through, call it failure, but I call it challenges. They've learned. That's where we learn most, in the challenges. We don't learn in the successes. And you're probably thinking, where's this coming with 20K? And I'll say why. Because you've got to have a background behind you of what is your why? What is the reason you're doing this? Believe me, money is not a motivator. It isn't, because if it was, everybody would be going at this hammer and tongs, wouldn't they? They really would. Okay. So it's not about money, it's what it is that you want out of life. And I sent something out today, which by the way, the little quote was not mine, obviously. It ultimately came from Robin Brooks, and I love his stuff. And I put out there, what's your why? I want you to think about it. And I shared mine. I shared my why, because my why has changed from years ago. So when I then book something like a 20K, what is the driving force behind me wanting to do the 20K? Because I've just booked one for Saturday. And I'll say this to you, I have got so many better things I could do on a Saturday. Okay, there's lots of things that I can do. So I've got to have a good reason to want to do them. So first of all, bear that in mind. If your reason isn't strong, you ain't going to get up and make an effort to do anything. You ain't going to bother. And you can moan and groan all you want, but a bit like the dog sat on the rusty nail, and the bloke that walks in says, why is that dog whimpering? And the barman says, because it's not painful enough. So then my question to you is, how painful does your life have to get without? There's a thought. So you've got to have a good reason. And believe me, I have actually turned things down to do what I'm doing this Saturday. So what's the other thing about a 20K? I see people do no planning at all. And what do I mean by planning? Well, do you know what? Be prepared. You know, it's simple. You really do need a proper diary. I'm sorry, but you can't book appointments without a proper diary. Definitely take a couple of pens. One's bound to give up on you. You know that, don't you? The one time, yeah? Make sure you've got the things that are necessary. Maybe some business cards, maybe some flyers with your details on it. And be there on time. Because anybody that's there on time already feels a bit more cool, calm, and collected. They're not stressed. Because if you're stressed, you won't be able to think properly. You're actually going to start off with anxiety. Is that not true? Yeah, of course it is. So be prepared. Now, I'm going to do more preparation than the people that are on it, because I'm going to do what I call a bit of rapport building. I'm going to make the effort to go over to the venue, which is 30 minutes away, and I'm going to say, go and meet the manager. Even though this is booked through Access Point, I'm going to meet the manager. I'm going to build some rapport. I'm going to give him assurance that the people that are coming along, we're there also with the Dobbies' best interests at heart. Because Dobbies are allowing it because ultimately they want the money from us, but more importantly, they're looking for more custom, aren't they? Is that not true? So if we can actually side people up at Dobbies is a cashback partner, hooray. Guess what? That could drive more business in. Now, I'm going to make sure he's aware of that. And it's a bit as simple of rapport building straight away. And there's another reason I'm going to meet the manager, because then I'm going to be um, already feeling great. And he might already then tell the staff to be prepared that there's going to be some people turning up and that we are going to be working with them, not against them. I see people not do this stuff. All right. It's basic to me, but I realize it's something that you actually have to say. Here's something else. If you want something, so here we are, I'm doing a dobbies because I'm after something, which I'm not prepared to share with you at the moment. All right. What are you prepared to give up? You know, we have a saying, do today what others won't do, so you can have tomorrow what others won't have. And that is true, absolutely true. In fact, I heard something even easier than that. If you want a six pack, you can't eat pizza or curry. Is that true? Yes, it is. And how many of us, sorry, we're not prepared to give up the pizza or curry? Absolutely true. And I find these things amazing. I find them all amazing. So, look, what we've got to do is now say there's no such thing as the opposite of success is failure. It's not. Learning by the challenges, call them failures if you want, is going to get you to success. I'll tell you what the opposite of failure is, sorry, of success is. I'm with Wes in this camp. Oh, there was no pun intended there. This is on record, it's being recorded. The opposite of success is mediocrity. Oh, that's horrible. Do you want a mediocre life? Now, there's a thought. There's a thought. Do you want mediocrity? No. I've never wanted mediocrity. I know that. All my life, I haven't wanted it. I cannot bear to be one of the 99.9% of people that will just get up and do something and do it day in, day out, and come home and sit down and watch 4 or 5 hours of telly. That is not me. It just isn't going to. So that's why I'm prepared to give some things up to actually achieve other things that I'm looking for. So why do you think I'm doing a Dobbies this Saturday? I don't have to do a Dobbies, not really, do I? I ain't got to do anything if I don't want to. Shall I tell you what it is? It's going to get me nearer my goal of national group leader. And I'm doing it for some specific people to help them because they live close and they are intrinsic to me going national group leader. So I'm jumping out of, Paul Juan doesn't even know I've done this yet, bless him. I am going to give up my Saturday to achieve what I'm out to achieve. And it's not actually me getting customers, it's about me coaching people. I view a 20K as a coaching ground, a fabulous coaching ground. So that probably wasn't what you was expecting to hear at this moment. So now let's tell you, because I know you're dying to know, how we're going to do it. Well, we're going to do some slipping because it's the right thing. As they come in through the main entrance, they are going to be given something. So let's tell you what happens. The slipper, if we can call them that, is the fundamental person to making the whole thing happen. If the slippers don't do what they should do, it doesn't work. And the slipper does not go off at this point to the loo, go and have a quick cup of coffee, sneak out for a smoke break. A slipper, this is your point when you do your bit. Because if you do that right, the two on the stand are really busy. And it's noticeable that busyness doesn't happen on the stand when a slipper doesn't do their bit. So let's tell you what a slipper does. And this is, please, this is recorded. You can replay it. You don't panic if you're not writing it super fast, because I can't just write this out. But basically, you've got to put on the Barbie smile, the Cheshire cat, you know, that at the end of the day, your face is cracking because you smile so much. Because believe me, people respond to a smile. They'll mirror you and they'll smile back. If you stand there like a miserable toe rag, I promise you, nobody will come over to you. You know, Lisa says it the way it is. Okay, I say it the way it is. So You go towards them in a lovely, positive way, not face on, that's confrontational. Slightly to the side, your body, all right, because that's open body language, and you go, "This is for you," or "Take this." It's a very subtle, warm command. Please don't ask them, "Would you like to win £20,000?" You will get no every time. I promise you. Okay. So you say, "Take this. It's your chance today to win either £20,000 or you could get £1,000 for 2 years towards your mortgage. 24 grand. Yeah. Now that's a very simple way to do it. Personally, when I go slipping, this is what I'll say. I'll say, "Oh, do take this." You're going to make my team so happy inside. Go over, because do you know what? They are so out to win some money. And the only way they can is if you win it as well. And they'd love you in the draw. Now, actually, am I correct when you're slipping, when we're doing this? Is it not true that it's the sprat to catch a mackerel? And the public knows that you are there because you're after something. They know that that is the little morsel to get you. And they think, "Oh, they're going to take my name. They're going to take my details. Oh, I'm going to be bombarded with emails and telephone calls." Is that true? Yes. So what I've just said to you is a little bit more engaging, because I'm saying, "Oh, they'd love you to," because they got a chance to win some money. And the only way they can win is if you join, you go in, and then you win as well. They win with you. And all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, that sounds good." Now, your chance today. Is that true? Is it a play on words? Yes, it is. But it is their chance today. It wasn't yesterday. All right. So the slipping bit is important. Personally, I would say maximum time element, maximum 30 minutes, preferably 20. If you do 20 minutes, like we're doing a 3, so if you do 20 minutes, that works perfectly in an hour. 20 minutes, and you end up with actually 40 minutes on the stand in each hour, and that works. And 20 minutes is bearable. Yeah. Got that? So what happens? Well, do you know what? Supposing you haven't got enough people to slip, you could do the never ending slip. I love this. I don't need anybody. I hold a slip up and go, "Can I take your slip off you, please?" And they go, they fill their pockets, they go, "I never got one." And I'll say, "You didn't get a slip. They missed you out. Come here. Let's put you in the drawer anyway." How good is that? Yeah. You could do that anyway, regardless. Hold it up, because some of them are going to pretend they haven't got one. Some of them will have refused one. But that way, yeah. And you've got to have a laugh. Believe me, you've got to make them smile. You've got to have some fun in this. Don't be serious. Okay, don't be serious, because serious can come over as seriously nervous, and then nervousness comes over of, "I'm not really interested in you. I'm just out to get what I can get." And that's what you don't want. Okay. So I take the slip off somebody. I say, "Yeah, come on, let's put you in. Come on." In reality, the reason I want you in the drawer is I've got a chance to win a load of money. And then when they realize that, they're much more amenable to going in the drawer. Now, I'm going to say to you, the first thing I do is get their details. Without a shadow of a doubt, that's what you're after, isn't it? Yeah. Don't shortchange it. I've known people just take a postcode. Excuse me. If that if that turns into more, you need to know where they live. You cannot find it from a postcode. All right. And I also view it that the more details I get, the better. So I don't go for email addresses. I would never email somebody. Unlikely ever to read or respond to an email. I would get a mobile number, a landline. Yeah. If there's 2 of them, I'd probably get them both and just say, "Well, if I can't get you, I'll try you." And I have fun with this, absolute fun. So they put them in the drawer. So what do you do now? How do you translate it? How do you bring it over? Well, this is what I'm doing. Might not be what you want to do, but this works. And you can use this anywhere. You can use this on neighbour letters. You could use it in the street, anything. I say to them, so what kind of shopper are you? It's ideal, isn't it? They're at Dobby's. What kind of shopper are you? Do you just kind of grab it and stick it in the trolley? Or are you a discerning shopper? Are you one of those that kind of like, I'll look at prices? Now, I tell you, if you use the word discerning, discerning is the word that relates to smart. People think smart means I'm clever. So they want to be discerning. It's kind of leading them. And they say, oh, yeah. And I say, okay, so you're a discerning shopper. Do you want me asking then, do you actually move that towards things like your home services? Like, and then I point to the banner, gas, electric, phone. And most people go, nah, can't be bothered. Or, no, oh, I did it once and it was a nightmare. Or there are so many reasons they say, no, not really. Or they'll go very smug and they stand up straight with, oh, yes, I do it regularly. I do it every single year. Those you're not interested in, guys, they're called rate tarts. You don't want them, okay? You're looking for people that might say, well, I might be, or no, not really. And then if they say not really, this is what I do. I go, why? With expression, why? You're bothering to make the effort to be really a really discerning shopper. So if you don't translate that through to the things that are more expensive, like gas and electric, and by the way, you can't make those things any better. You can improve the the customer service and the simple billing, but you can't make gas and electric any better. If you don't relate it to that, what's the point of doing it in the supermarket or here at Dobby's? Because one negates the other. And all of a sudden I see people go, oh yeah, I suppose it does. And all of a sudden you've helped them to think. Believe me, the general public can't think. They're useless. All right. Most people don't think. And I'll tell you why, because they follow orders all their life. They follow orders at school. They follow it in college. They follow it in their job. When they're told what to do, they do what they do. And they can't think for themselves. So what we've got to do is help them have a brainwave moment. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, so all I do is I don't do a sales spiel. I don't use a presenter, none of that. I just go, I'll tell you what, let me show you how damn good this is. Let's cut the sales spiel, I say. Let's cut that out. I grab my bill and I just show them. And I talk through my bill and I explain what happens. And I say, you see all those little tiny bits of everyday spending? And when they turn around and they go, yeah, but it all adds up, I go, you're right, it's true. It does. Look, how smart is that? Can you see I've never even paid for my phone and broadband ever? Some months I don't pay for the mobile. I like free. And then I add in, do you know what my accountant says to me? He says, Lisa, you get back about £600 a year. Because Mr. Taxman don't get his hands on it, it's worth 30% more. And I say to them, can you see why I'm so smug and why I would never actually leave this company? Because if I did, I'd pay more. And then this is the moment. You look at them straight in the face and you go, how would you like your everyday spending to start eliminate some of your services? And believe me, if they go, no, you don't want them, that means there's nothing going on up there at all. But most of them will go, yes, yeah, I would. And then this is it. By the way, Lisa doesn't have many original ideas. So the next one is straight off of Rob Barris, my mentor, my coach originally. He says, great, we need to meet. And I just grab my diary. Don't let them see my diary. Okay. I say, I'm really busy, but I'll see if I can fit you in. That's convenient. Believe me, you don't want to look like you are desperate. If you turn around and say, oh, I can do it whenever it suits you. No, you've got to get people to value you, value your time. So I say, I'm really busy. Well, actually, I am anyway. And you know, it's then the alternative clothes. So what you're doing is saying, I mean, if they're a certain age, you know damn well they're not working, are they? You know. By the way, that's not always true because I can see Lindsay's gone grey early. I'm allowed to say it, aren't I, Lindsay? But you know what I mean. You get an idea, don't you? I say to them, I guess you're not working. And they say no. And I say, okay. So, oh, it would be lovely to be able to see you during the day. By the way, I'm happy to come and see you because you know, I already know where they're living. Yeah. Or if you don't like that, we can do it sort of like over the internet. And most people I tend to find love it when they say, oh, would you come and see us? I'll say, yeah. And then I explain what I'm going to do. And this is about giving people power. I've talked about this. This is important. I say to them, so look, what I'm going to do is come and see you. I'll ask you to have your bills at the ready. All right. Most important is the gas, electric. The other stuff is more important, like how much do you spend each month? And when is your contract out for renewal? Or when did you sign it up? Whatever. And I'm then going to show you everything. And that way you'll have all the facts, all the information, and you will be able to make a really good decision. Now, I can't promise you how much I'm going to save you because at this point I don't know. Everyone's different. Some people I save them a few £100s a year. Some people I save them up to £2,000 a year. That depends on the individual household. That's why I need to come and see you. So that's really, you know, and then I say to them, right, so let's have a look then. So I can do Thursday or Friday. I can do Thursday in the morning, or I can do Friday afternoon, whatever it may be. Yeah. So that way, by giving them the alternative clothes, you're getting their brain to function again, which is, if I said, are you free next week? They'll go no. They'll always say no. So they may say, oh, I don't know what I'm up to those 2 days. Does anyone else get that? Yeah, you do. Of course you do. And I say, yeah, that's perfectly understandable. Is it that you think there might be a doctor's appointment or something in there? And then I get, oh no. And I say, oh, what? Is it all the grandkids coming to visit? And then actually what happens, I find, is they go, oh, actually, no, we are free. Because what you're doing is homing in on getting them thinking about stuff. Because most people's brains, as I say, don't think. And it sounds like I haven't got much of an opinion of most people, but it's because of the way that I find they relate to me. I see what goes on. So we then get an appointment. No, we haven't got one. Not yet, you haven't. You think you've got an appointment, you haven't. You've got to consolidate it. So I've got the appointment and I say, right, okay, so you said Friday at 3. Can I ask you, are you sure there's nothing that's going to get in the way? You haven't got a hair appointment or something like that going on? And what they tend to do is I find women then go, oh, I forgot I've got my little diary. And they have this tiny little diary in their handbag. And up to that point, they haven't even got it out. But you do find there are some people that are more modern. They've got it all on their phones. I'm not that modern yet. I haven't got it on my phone yet. I still run a diary, an old-fashioned one. So then you're getting them to really focus. And I say, look, the reason I'm making sure is I don't want to let you down. I've got a whole load of people that are relying on me because I coach and mentor people. And if you let me down at the last moment, do you know what? I can't fill that slot. And there was other people that I could have helped. And that always saddens me. And that's not to put pressure on you, but to say, I just treat others the way I like to be treated. And actually, do you know what? I'm putting this time aside, especially for you, because I think by the time I leave, like most folk, I joke and I say, do you know what? Most folk end up giving me a hug because they're so delighted how much I've saved them. Now, you might think, well, that's a real cheeky thing to do. But, you know, if you have a laugh and a bit of banter with someone, you are going to find it so much better than if you are an official salesperson. Yeah. And that really is about it, because what are we in? We're in the business of building relationships, having little conversations. And the conversations is what gets us appointments to be able to show things. If you also just bear this in mind, if you say things like, and it's really good, oh, I find that, you know, I save people so much money, they absolutely love it. And, you know, they stay with me for flipping years because it's so good. What you're doing is setting a rather nice thought in their mind. You're setting hope. Does anyone realize how important hope is? Hope is the thing that matters. Life is all about hope. And if you set some nice hope for them, they're going to be really pleased that you're going to see them. If this is just a bit of a perfunctory exercise where you can't wait to get a name and an address in your diary, then actually you've missed the point of this entirely. Now, I'm not sure if that was what you was expecting, all right? But I'm saying to you, this is all about having fun, coaching others, having fun with other people, because this can be a lonely business. But it's also, most importantly, it's about building relationships on that stand. And here's the thing, it would be better in a 4-hour slot if you came away with 3 great proper appointments than you had 20 slips filled in. That's not what you're there for. You're not there for filling in slips and getting names and addresses, which you then got a call. You're there to get consolidated great appointments. And why do I say that? And you're probably thinking, God, I thought she'd say you should have 10. You should have 50. No, because in the past, I've often done a stint of about 4 hours somewhere, and I've managed to get one great appointment that has gone on, and there's a whole family, and I know them all, I can say their names off, 24 referrals from one appointment. Isn't that better? Yeah, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for those meaningful things that can grow organically. So if you'd like to unmute, is there any questions about what I've said that you'd like to ask me? Yes, Ros.
Lisa, do you contact the people in advance of the appointment just to, say, is parking outside okay? Or do you just turn up?
Right. No, I never just turn up. All right, I don't. And I usually set off, and as soon as I'm in my car, I ring them and say, I'm on my way. Yeah. Any
Yeah.
problems with parking? Exactly what you said, Ros. Anything about parking I should know about. And you know what? You'll
Okay.
get a feel immediately then, won't you? If they're expecting you, or
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I've had the odd letdown. And believe me, it's really annoying. It really is. And I don't want to travel anywhere and and be messed about. I'm way beyond that. But you see, I would say to you, so much of it is about how much you've built that rapport on that stand. It really is
Mm.
that you know that you've got a good appointment. And don't get me wrong, there will always be the odd anomaly that something untoward happens. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else got any questions? Or are we done? I would like to do this next week, and I'd like to do it from a slightly different angle, because what I'd like to do is do it from what I call the really simpletons angle. Okay. Because what I've just done is something it's quite skilled, but if you can do it, it really works. And I find that little phrase, I use it everywhere now. I use it everywhere. Oh, what kind of shopper are you? You a grab it, stick it in the trolley, or are you a discerning shopper? It's a great thing because it's open-ended, ladies and gentlemen. It actually is
Yeah.
not about anything, is it? And what it
Mm.
does is people are happy to answer you, and then you've got the perfect twist. You just say, oh, do you translate that to your services at home? What a great way of bringing it in and not doing a sales spill. You don't want to do a sales spill. Just grab your bill and show them, because the proof is in the eating. Guys, I'm going to stop because otherwise we'll go over time. We started late, so I'm going to keep it to the half an hour. Same time, same place. See you next week.
Thank you very much, Lisa.
Thanks, Lisa.
Bye.